Victoria's coronavirus alert has spread with potential exposure sites in Sunbury, just north of Melbourne. It comes after a third hotel quarantine worker tested positive to COVID-19 late yesterday. Reporter Nicole Asher joins us now from Sunbury. Nicole, take us through these new exposure sites and just take us through how people were in Victoria feeling, or what the feeling was when this news came through yesterday. It was kind of one after the other in quick succession, wasn't it, in that hour between kind of 4 and 5?
That's right, Joe. So I think we're kind of getting used to the health department being quite frank and quite quick to let people know when there is a possible exposure site in their area. So yesterday, or late last night actually, these 7 exposure sites in Bunbury were released, in Sunbury. We're here at the Sunbury Square Shopping Centre where many of the exposure sites are. So, you know, the hotel quarantine worker, they tested negative at their last shift at the Holiday Inn, and then went about their weekend. So Friday afternoon, they ducked in here, they went to the bakery, they picked up some sushi, they went to a Asian food store, they went to a number of stores in there, and then carried on their weekend. On Saturday, they went to a Cellarbrations bottle shop, they got a massage. On Sunday, they were back at the bottle shop, and then when they returned to work, they developed symptoms and got another test, and they were shown to be positive. So now the message is anyone who's been to these sites over that period, so over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if there's any concern, jump on the health department website, see if you were there during the exposure times. If you were, then you need to go and get a coronavirus test, and you also need to isolate for 14 days because these are deemed high risk exposure sites. I mean, those people isolating, though, will be joined by people from the Holiday Inn, so there's many people who are on that floor. So there's all these 3 cases, they're linked to this one floor, and people there who just finished their hotel quarantine period are now having to go back into isolation. So I think it would be pretty heartbreaking for them and a bit concerning for, I guess, the state at large.
And what have people been saying there in Sunbury this morning? And just for people outside Victoria, this is a little spot just to the north of Melbourne City?
That's right. So there's a lot of connectivity between here and Melbourne, you know, whether it's people working in the city as this quarantine hotel worker was, or, you know, kids are going to school further afield and such. So, I mean, you know, the news is slowly starting to trickle out here. I was watching social media this morning and I think people were still in bed and doing their doom scrolling to find out what had happened overnight, and reality was starting to hit. We've been speaking to people as they roll up here at the shopping centre this morning to get, you know, their normal morning supplies, and some people didn't know anything about it. Others have kind of said, oh look, you know, I'm getting out while it's quiet, or I've been very careful. But it sounds like people are taking it very seriously. But here's a few people we spoke to earlier.
Scary, always scary, you know, but I don't go anywhere far away from somebody, just shop and go home and go for walks, that's it.
It's not the most ideal situation. It was a bit of a shock to wake up to, but yeah, we've been told it's business as per usual, so yeah, there's not much we can do.
Well, I don't come out all that much, so no, I'm not worried.
And Nicole, so what can you tell us about the source of all this concern about these cases, and what the theory is about what's possibly happened at this Holiday Inn hotel at the airport?
So across the country, we've seen in the last couple of weeks the virus escape from hotels, and one of the big concerns is this UK strain, which is more infectious and more transmissible. So it seems to be that's the case at the Holiday Inn. The initial worker has, it's been revealed that they have the UK strain. The resident who has had to go back into quarantine, authorities believe that they caught it while they were in the hotel, and now this extra case. So there's a lot of concern around the Hotel Inn, and they're also talking about whether, you know, they've stopped accepting return travellers onto that floor, and there's talk about whether or not they shut that down. We've heard some unconfirmed reports, but I think we'll hear more from the government in due course. We're also hearing from epidemiologists who are weighing in, you know, on whether more PPE is required. At the moment, hotel workers wear a surgical mask and a face shield, and Catherine Bennett, epidemiologist in particular, has raised concerns about that, but here's what she has to say.
I do think that corridors are going to be a major focus of this next sort of level of revamping, not only looking at the PPE that staff wear in those areas, which they have done in Victoria, but also looking at boosting the ventilation in corridors, because there is this risk if the doors are opening from rooms onto this common space.
So we'll hear a lot more, I think, over the coming day or so about more workers wearing those more protective N95 masks, and there'll be more investigations happening today. We also know that our Chief Health Officer will be speaking to his interstate counterparts about whether or not more testing needs to be done before people leave their country of origin, I suppose, before they travel back into Australia. We're also expecting to hear from the state government in the next couple of hours, Joe.
Okay, and is there actually a fixed time on that this morning, Nicole? Have you heard anything on that?
I don't believe the message has gone out, but I have felt my phone vibrate in my pocket a couple of times during while we've been speaking, so it may have changed.
Yeah, cool. Okay, Nicole Asher reporting there from Sunbury, just in the north of Melbourne.